we're going to be checking the Elegg tier list from both Prydwen, NikkeiGG, and the best website for Nikkei resources, lootandwaifus.com. See if we agree, we disagree with what people are saying right now with Elegg, where she belongs, and if you guys have anything to add to these reviews. We're going to start with Prydwen itself and see where they are placing her. We're going to be checking only a story itself and then maybe bosses. We can see everything though, right? But for example, Prydwen, it's placing our new beautiful girl on, where the fuck is she? Here, A. So she is A with Biscuit, Makima, Quincy, Polly. This is a story high deficit. She is a story A for low deficit, high deficit, and bosses with ads. S for bosses solo, and then PvP D. We don't touch PvP, we don't care about PvP. The rest, I do agree. I do more or less agree. I do want to check, however, not the whole review, just the pros and cons, and see if we can see anything interesting or that we might have missed, right? Missed. Offers a unique distribute damage buff that can even empower Dorothy. Yes, not only Dorothy, but it empowers 3 units only right now, sadly. Hopefully, and this might be Copium. I was going to say where's the music. This might be Copium, we don't know, but right now it's only 3 units. Hopefully in the future we get more. 2B is the worst one in terms of how it works. She can be a budget must, but whatever. But of course, Scarlet, Black Shadow, and Dorothy are the best picks for this. Attack buff that lasts a long time, only if we talk about bosses. Outside of bosses, she kind of falls off. She sucks a little bit, but it's completely fine. Notable damage boost to projectiles constantly. This is true, but I would not even put it as a pro, just for the sole reason that there is not a lot of places where you take advantage of this. Even right now, on the latest Solar Raid, for example, we don't get projectiles. You get a big-ass ball that you have to shoot 100 times. It's not a projectile percent that you can increase the damage you're doing, right? So, I don't know what ShiftUp wants to do with this type of stuff. Maybe we'll get more bosses with projectiles. This can help for new players on a special interception, though, so it's something good. Machine guns have unlimited reach, yes, and it will be a constant core hitter, doing a lot of damage. Can be both DPS and support for meta units. I would not run Elegg as a DPS, mostly because that means you're investing in her. That means you're going full overload and at least 7-7-10. And I would never recommend that for this type of unit. It's just too niche, at least right now, to be, or at least for me to recommend her as a DPS. And a Voluptuous Egg, I think we all can agree on that one. I think we all can agree on that one. Cons. Relying on max ammo as DPS. Yes, if you want to run her as DPS, and even as normal character and you want to overload her, it's the priority as her stat is going to be max ammunition. Distribute damage is a niche type of damage. It is right now. There is, I think it's only 3 units, I believe, right? I think it's only Dorothy, Scarlet, Black Shadow, and 2B. I'm not sure if there's anyone else doing distribute damage. Do let me know in chat and I will correct that, but I think it's only those 3 now. Boom install debuff expires prematurely if affected enemy is killed and deactivates the trigger requirements for skill 1 or 2. So yeah, like I was saying, if you're using it outside of bosses, it's a waste. It's a waste. There is almost no reason to be using her outside of bosses, because the moment you apply boom install and that mob dies, you are losing a skill 2, you're losing a skill 1, and she's doing nothing for the team other than boosting the distribute damage. So outside of bosses, I will never recommend using her. There is a lot of alternatives for that. If you are a new player and have nothing else, you can work with that for now. But yeah, a boom install can be applied on the wrong enemy if Elegg is not being played on manual when activated. Yes, reminder that they are going right now from multiple Nikkeis. I don't know if this is a trend we'll keep seeing, but they're going with this. Affect the enemies nearest to the crosshair. I think this is great because it makes it easier for us when we're playing to actually aim whatever we're doing. But at the same time, if it's a B1 or a B2, you have to do it manually, so you don't apply this to a random small enemy, right? So yes. Addicted to boom. Addiction is never good, so tell us, how much time do you spend in Nikke? Not enough. Nikke, give me a roguelike mode, a good one, not simulation room. That kind of sucks. And Overcooked, I'm gonna be honest, it's boring after 25. There is no reason to push more. That said, addiction is never good, but we are gambling addicts. I agree with Prydwen on most of the stuff for this character. Other characters, I usually don't agree as much with them, but for this one, I do agree. I do want to check also Nikke because I believe they also publish the review for Elegg. And she is... Oh, there she is. She's also an A character for them. All right. So it's 37.90, PvP 5, and bosses 8.0. 30. All right. Same tier, right? Or around same tier. We could consider the A. Yeah, same tier, A. So Elegg, same thing. I want to check only the pros and cons. See if we agree or not, or if it's similar or not. What is this? Balking, where do you have this? Oh, here. Strength and weaknesses. Strength. Unique distribute damage buff, auto dilute by damage taken debuff. Once again, we can agree, right? It's the first buffer that we get for this type of damage. Decent personal damage with decent almost permanent buff as a solo B2 Nike. Only on bosses. If it's not bosses, her buffs are not permanent. And also, in terms of personal damage, I would just not recommend like investing in her too much. There is just too many meta units to be invested in her. Unless it's your wife and you don't care about meta, then go for it, right? Strong projectile damage increase, we talked about this already. Opens up the potential of future damage distribute nicks greatly. Always remember that when we talk about future-proof units, and I do agree on putting it here, but take it with a grain of salt, because future-proof means Shift Up is actually going on with that, right? Shift Up keeps releasing those units, and we don't know what the fuck they want to do. So take that with a grain of salt. I do agree with that. Never invest on a unit just because in the future she will work. Will fix your power outages. That's great. And rip and tear until it's done. God bless Boom, aka Doom. Weaknesses. Niche buffs, which a very selected amount of Nickers can benefit from as of right now. Agree. And she said, boom, error. This is not a weakness because I'm also a boomer and I love her. Right? So, not not a weakness. Balkin, what you saying? That's not a weekend. You capping here. She is same tier list or okay, she's pretty similar in this regard on the A tier. And then lastly, we have the best tier list for Nikkei GG. Not for Nikkei GG. Fuck Nikkei GG. Fuck Prydwen. The best tier list for Nikkei Worlds of Victory. Waifus.com. And where is Elegg? 1.5. 1.5. Which is pretty similar to them as well, right? I will say. Also, to take into consideration, we are putting 2 flags on her. First of all, situational flag, because she is going to be mostly used on bosses. Outside of that, it's really weird that you will see her. And then, of course, we're putting the pair flag, because you're only using her on teams that can benefit from the distribute damage DPS, right? So if you're not using her with Dorothy or with Scarlet Black Shadow, you most likely will not see her as a solo B2 when we have a lot more options available, right? But I believe I pretty much put the same stuff for her, right? So pros, one of the best bellies in the game. Does anyone disagree with this? Because this is the most important pro when it comes to our beautiful girl, right? Amazing support for distribute DPS units. Instant burst can help new players on a special interception. I didn't see them talking about this, and maybe they do on the full review. I have not read the full review, so I'm just saying that I didn't see mention it. But she will really help, just like D, for new players on Modernia, even on Train. She will help a lot on those situations for new players that cannot fully clear. Other than that, yeah. And then not a lot of bosses that throw projectiles to take advantage of the extra damage. That's one of the cons, in my opinion. Instant burst can only be activated once per battle. She uses some value, just like D. And then not a lot of distribute DPS units right now, so we don't have a lot of units. This is like a future-proof unit that might not get any more units to support, right? Also, to be fair, it's a lot easier to get a supporter to be future-proof than it is to get a DPS to be future-proof. Because a DPS, might not get other ones, but a support unit will always be able to get a newer DPSs in there long term, right? The DPSs will fluctuate a lot more when it comes to the tier list. The supporters, just like volume, they can only go up the more units we get, which is something good, I will say. That said, those are the 3 tier lists. I think most people will agree with them this time. I think this is also the first time we are seeing all of the websites more or less agreeing with the rating, because for the last 3-4 characters there's been like a lot of differences, but for Elegg, she's actually getting the same treatment. That said, do let me know what you guys think about Elegg, about all of the websites. You guys say goodbye to YouTube, and we're gonna go move into the next one, into the next drama of today.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。 ノワールのショータイムです。
天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。